Hi everyone, it's Brian, and today I thought I would do the If I Was a God vinyl tag started by Alan, otherwise known as Static Traveller over in England. Now, he is one of the most unique channels in the vinyl community, so on the off chance you don't know it, you should definitely investigate that. And now I've seen a few responses to this already, and they've all been very entertaining, so I'm just going to add my voice to those and see where it goes. So there are 9 questions in this tag. The first is, show a record you would improve by removing a single track. I thought of a number of possibilities for this one, but for whatever reason I chose this record, Human Touch by Bruce Springsteen, which is not my favorite Springsteen record by any means. Neither is Lucky Town, which came out on the same day. But there's one track on here that is just so ridiculous and so irritating that we could easily remove it and the record would be equally as fine. And that is the last track on side 2, which is called Pony Boy. I mean, it's easy enough to skip, but it's just so unnecessary. It's 2 minutes and 14 seconds. It's dumb. The lyrics are idiotic. Pony boy, won't you be my pony boy? It sounds like it was written by a pedophile. It's terrible. The record would be improved without it being on here. Number 2 is, show a record by an artist you would resurrect from the dead. You know, to be honest, the first person I thought of was John Lennon, because I think that was just a senseless tragedy and his life was cut way too short. But in the end, I chose David Bowie, because he was only in his 60s, late 60s when he died. I was looking forward to more records from him. I really liked his later catalog, and it just seems so sad that he was still very young and left his family behind. So I would choose Bowie because I'm a fan, and I think that was tragic. Number 3, which record that you own would you obliterate from the face of the earth, erasing all memory of its existence? So again, I thought of numerous things that I don't own, but of the ones I own, there are a few records I bought perhaps optimistically at thrift stores and lawn sales and whatnot, and upon listening to them realized that that's why the person was selling them. One of them is An Innocent Man by Billy Joel. Now, I don't mind The Stranger from Billy Joel, but this record, it's just, let's think about Uptown Girl. I think that song's a crime against humanity. It's just awful. Other songs on here that I really hate, The Longest Time, the a cappella thing, yeah, I don't like it either. So this one I would definitely get rid of. Number 4, show a record cover that displays something of the power of nature. And my first inclination here was to pick something like weather, winter, storm, something like that. But I thought the greatest power in nature is probably the drive for reproduction across humans and animals. So I chose the Human League Reproduction. And because it has these babies on it and baby on the back. And I don't know what this cover actually means, and this is actually a really good record. But yeah, the drive to reproduce. Maybe there are too many humans right now, and maybe there are too few animals, but reproduction. Okay. Let's see, number 5. Which three musicians would you Frankenstein together to produce a super musician? It's a very interesting question, and I've seen some interesting answers to it. But, let's not forget that Frankenstein's monster didn't actually turn out too well. But I would choose, as the first component, Leonard Cohen, because of his poetry. I mean, he was a poet first. And let's not forget his humor. Was very funny, and there was some humor in his songs. So Leonard Cohen for the poetry and humor, and mix that in with the aggressive production stylings of Al Jorgensen from Ministry. I mean, this verges on metal in places. This is the mind is a terrible thing to take. So take Leonard Cohen's poetry with the visceral aggression of later Ministry, and mix that in with the sultry singing styles of Sade, and I think you'd be on to something really interesting. So there we go. That's my answer to that question. Number 6. Show a record by one male artist and one female artist you would save from the end of the world to entertain you in heaven forever. Of course, that presupposes that you believe in heaven. I don't think I do. In any case, I thought about a lot of answers. And it was a tough one for me, but in the end, I picked a singer-songwriter I've always admired. That's Billy Bragg. And again, socially aware lyrics, a good quality, good selection of love songs. But he's also a funny guy too. The first time I saw him, excuse me, first time I saw him in concert, it was almost like a stand-up comedy routine. He talked so much. I thought, is he ever going to play a song? And he eventually did, but he was very funny that day. So Billy Bragg for the male artist, and for the female artist, I chose PJ Harvey. I thought of Kate Bush, but in some respects, PJ Harvey makes more sense because she has a lot of stylings, like the early sort of punky stuff, and she's sort of mellow in places. So I think she would be very interesting guitarist, piano player, very good. I'm losing my voice. Show a record which depicts one or more of the 7 deadly sins: lust, gluttony, greed, sloth, anger, envy, and pride. And so I chose this record from Ice-T. I mean, why not? Yeah, it's called Power. So obviously you get the element of lust there, and she's carrying some sort of weapon. I mean, is that wrath? Is there some pride involved here? But I remember when this record came out, I was like, wow, what a record cover. Look at that. So, that one. Okay, moving on. Show a record by an artist, if you can, that you would assign to hell forever for crimes against humanity. And I would have said Justin Bieber, but I don't own any Justin Bieber. And this is going to maybe irk some people, but Yoko Ono. Now, when Double Fantasy came out and I acquired a copy, I thought, I was just flabbergasted because I had only heard the John Lennon tracks, and when I heard the Yoko Ono tracks, I thought, what is happening here? This would make a great EP. And later I thought, if you took all the John Lennon songs from Double Fantasy and Milk and Honey and put them on a record, you would have a fantastic record. But maybe I don't understand her. Maybe I'm not well enough aware of her. This is probably one of her better records, but yeah, Yoko Ono for me would be the one I would choose. And finally, the question is, in your benevolence, which VC channel would you bestow 1 million subscribers to so that they may never have to work again and indulge us in all their videos ad infinitum? It cannot be your own. So I think if I was a god, I would maybe take the Old Testament route and run a old school Old Testament contest in the vinyl community. And the challenge would be to creatively sacrifice your most valuable record on a homemade altar. And I would choose who did it the best. And I'm going to go one step further and suggest who I think would do it the best. I think it'd be Penge Derrick. That would be my answer. And we could watch those guys forever. So there you have it. That's my answers for Alan's vinyl tag. Talk to you later.